Hi guys, so I hope you like the little teaser of me painting this Orc Hunter Rider. And you may have guessed, he's one of the wonderful creations by Mr. Modulorc. Obviously I am biased because I do love orcs, but this guy, yeah, all his sculpts are just amazing. Whether it's the vehicles, the miniatures, or even the other things they're riding. So talking things they're riding, yeah, there's a whole variety of those. This is the one that I've gone for. Absolutely love how it looks. And the thing I love about Mr. Modulorc, it's kind of in the name, but everything's modular. So everything has, well, a whole variety of parts, which you really can mix and match. So you may have heard in a recent video, yeah, I'm looking at printing out loads of orcs to make a Warhammer army. And if I'm going to be doing loads of printing, well, I need a lot of resin. So I'm going to use this one, Siraya. I love this one, it's a fast one, but it's also like an ABS type resin, which means it has lots of flexibility to it, and it's very reasonably priced, especially if you click on the link down below, guys. I do have a discount code to get 5% off anything you spend at Siraya. As always, everything's printed out perfectly, and yeah, just a case of gluing the bits together. So say I have mixed and matched this a little bit. I've gone for a different head than the one of the ones in the picture, but say this is what I love about Mr. Modulorc. Yeah, you have a look at his stuff, everything you can just mix and match, change all the weapon layout, definitely all the heads, and yeah, everything just prints out perfectly. And once everything is glued together, yeah, he's ready to paint. So I'm going to stick him on my little painting handles here. And I'm using the old double-sided sticky tape to keep him on there. That way, yeah, he's not going to fall off. But when he's all done, yeah, he'll just pull off nice and easy. So I've kind of run out of white paint to do the old slap chop painting. So I've just gone with the old basic of priming in black and then a zenithal highlight by using a rattle can, obviously with white, from like a height, yeah, the old 45 degrees, all from above. So everything underneath still got a bit of a nice darkness to it. And yeah, I am going to be using some Army Painter paints in this one. So guys, something I do have a problem with, which is going to sound really bizarre, and that's using different makes of paints. And when I say different makes, I mean paints from different companies. So you'd have seen in the past, I've been using a lot of the Green Stuff World dipping inks. But if you go back, say 3-4 months, then you'll see me use a lot of Army Painter speed paints. And if you go back, well, maybe a few years, you'll see me use contrast paints by Citadel. But the one thing I always seem to have problems doing, and that is actually using a whole combination or range of paints from different makers. Don't ask me why. It's some sort of OCD I have that I can only seem to use one particular brand of paint on a miniature. I'm going to try and change that because I have my favourite paints from each one. And yeah, it seems silly not to use my favourite paints or favourite colours, should I say, when doing a miniature. So yeah, so obviously as always though, I'm going to leave, well, it's going to pop up on the screen, the colour that I'm using and who it's by. So yeah, I am going to try and use a variety of paints by different companies. Although you will see most of these are from Army Painter. But hey ho. So yeah, a lovely little model this. Say, he looks absolutely gorgeous. Loads of definition in this thing, which is obviously great because that's where the speed paints really come into their own. Filling all those nooks and crannies with lots of paints, and leaving the lighter, drier bits or highlighted bits in the raised areas. So obviously that's why, again, this thing doesn't take long to paint at all doing this sort of technique, and that's what I love, because especially now that I am looking at making a full army. Still haven't quite worked out what kind of army it's going to be. Obviously it's going to be orcs, there's no doubt about that bit, but I'm not too sure whether I'm going to have loads of, well, these kind of miniatures on animals, or whether they're going to be in vehicles or even on their feet. I want to try and do a variety of all sorts. So guys, if you guys have got any sort of like main ideas of a list of, well, kind of the basics that I should have, I'm kind of looking just for an army of about 1,000 points initially, maybe 2,000, but let's start with 1,000 first, as it is going to be my first go into a full Warhammer army. But yeah, so definitely going to be orcs. That's the one thing I know it is going to be. Which band of orcs? Yeah, that I don't know yet. Again, I really haven't got a clue. Something I need to look into, I guess. Obviously, a lot of the orcs I will be printing off will be from Mr. Modulorc, but there are quite a few from Puppets War Miniatures, as well as Station Forge. But if you guys know of anywhere there's some lovely orcs, yeah, by all means, let me know in the comments down below. As I say, I'm not too sure yet what kind of loadout I'm going to go for. Probably go for a good old mix, I guess. Either way, I love the fact that Siraya Tech do the 5 litre bottles of resin, as obviously you save money by buying them in bulk. And I say my discount code but down below, yeah, that gets you another 5% off. So yeah, go check them out, guys. In a way, I'm kind of glad I've run out of white paint, as I think I've only done one sort of miniature before with the old Zenithal sort of priming. So yeah, it'd be good to see what kind of difference it does make to the miniatures. I mean, initially what I can see so far, it does look like the miniature is a lot brighter than it normally is. I guess obviously when I do the slap chop method, I don't always cover much of the area with the sort of the white dry brushing. So yeah, there's generally a lot darker areas underneath. But with this, obviously a lot, as you can see, most of the top areas are sort of well and truly covered with a white primer. It really is the underneath that's still nice and dark. So yes, I think I'm going to try doing this for, well, the next good few videos. As I say, just because basically I have run out of white paint, but I do have white rattle can primer. So yeah, we'll be doing that from for the next sort of foreseeable future, I guess. So I'm using the Army Painter Metallic Speed Paint range. As I've always said, like in the past, whenever I use these, the coverage is beautiful. They go on really well, cover really nicely, but they don't sort of pull anywhere near as much as the other colours, especially the giddy green there that I use on the Orc skin, which is obviously one of my favourite greens to use. So yeah, any of these sort of metallic bits, they can have a good old wash going over afterwards. As well as these teeth that I'm painting with a fang white. Obviously there's no way this little creature would have lovely looking clean teeth. So yeah, these are going to get a wash over them, which you'll see coming up soon. And then I will go over a little bit with the tips of their teeth with the fang white again. And then add some sort of, well, a bit more blood looking thing in the recesses of the gums. Anyway, jumping ahead a bit too far there, let's give this little guy a nice little orange, well, orangey yellow goatee. And yeah, absolutely love how this chap looks. I say, Mr. Modulok, I use a lot of his stuff purely because it is so different. There's so many different types and looks to the orcs. And I say, the fact you can mix and match everything really means you can get the kind of layout you need with their weapons and obviously the vehicles and the creatures that they ride, which is just absolutely awesome. And yes, I know I use the word awesome lots in my videos, but that's just because, well, everything is pretty much awesome. Just like all these lovely patrons, as it's with your help and support, as well as my sponsors that help keep me doing this channel and keep me doing, well, something that I absolutely love and never thought I'd be doing as a, well, full-time sort of job, career, whatever you might want to call it. But yeah, cheers guys, thank you so much for all your help. So speed paints still amaze me at just how quickly you can turn your grey plastic miniature into, well, a tabletop ready miniature in next to no time at all. I know when I first started this channel I rarely painted any miniatures because it always took me so long to paint anything, and the results were, well, they weren't worth the time spent on them, that's for sure. Whereas nowadays, yeah, I say this thing, it was under 40 minutes and I love it. It looks perfect to me, that is. I know obviously things can be improved on, but say for me, get them to this stage and playable is kind of what it's all about, really. I do enjoy the painting, but I don't really want to spend hours and hours on one miniature. I'm never going to enter any competitions or any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, tabletop ready miniatures is perfect for me. So something I do need to try and use more of, and that's coloured washes. Yeah, I generally go with the sepia wash, kind of like over the metallic stuff, but I have a whole range of coloured washes. And yeah, using this blush red wash here works really well on his teeth, as it just adds that little bit more, well, a little more sort of gruesomeness to his teeth. Discolours them just nicely and makes it look like, yeah, this guy might have chomped on something quite recently. So definitely more washes need to be used. And that's him pretty much done. Yeah, last couple of things to do, and that's just to sort of tidy up the base, going around the rim there with some nice black, and then yeah, the bases. I'm going to keep the base simple, although I have just ordered loads more, well, basing material, as yeah, I want to have a go at doing sort of a variety of bases. I know I normally keep them all clear, but I think for the army that I sort of 3D print and paint, yeah, I'm going to actually make them have, well, the same base for all, well, all of them. And yeah, keep them nice and simple with this base. I've got my little box there full of about 4 different sort of grasses, and then yeah, good old PVA glue. Don't need this stuff to set too quick. I can just put this on and then leave it overnight and then sort of dip him in it. That generally gets most of him covered, but obviously if not, yeah, just pick a few bits up and sort of sprinkle them over him and then leave him to dry. Yeah, so I think it's time we need to see this chap, well, in all his glory. And there we go, guys, one painted tabletop ready orc hunter on his little vehicle there, and yeah, absolutely love him. I think he's come out really well. Probably could have done more sort of detail and different sort of stuff on the sort of squig thing he's on, but yeah, I like him nice and red. Obviously he goes faster. Yeah, absolutely love how it's turned out. So guys, it'd be awesome if you could hit that like button, share where possible, subscribe if you're new. Definitely turn on that notification bell, as I do produce a couple of videos every week. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. You all take care. Bye for now.